Friends, let us get into the video. You can see this is Australian continent and as well as a country. And if you look at the geography of Australia, you can see here in different colors, different areas marked like Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, South Australia, New South Wales, Canberra, Victoria, Adelaide. So you can even see the cities Darwin, Cairns, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth. These are the prominent important cities in Australia where you can always look for an option to apply and continue with your higher studies. Now, in continuation of that, we can further go and have a look at the same cities, popular cities in Australia, that is Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide. These are the 5 major cities where you can think of applying for relevant universities. Now, let us get into some details about basics of Australia. In terms of capital, as everyone knows, it's Canberra. The population of Australia is 27.6 million as of June 2025 and official language is English. The currency rate differs with an amount of INR. And coming to the next point, international students population. So this is an important factor where you can understand how many people from India are going to Australia to continue their studies. That is precisely 8,33,000. So please remember this amount. This is an important point. So let us come to the next point, friends. It is the number of international students who are studying in Australia are around about 8,33,000. This is from all the countries. So you can understand by this point that how many people from all over the world come to Australia as a destination because it's one of the popular destinations. So, and you can see the breakup also, like from which area, which city they are coming, enrolling themselves in different universities. New South Wales, Sydney, it is 2,64,000. Victoria, Melbourne, 2,27,000. Queensland, Brisbane, 1,08,000. Similarly, in some other areas, this is the breakup. And as far as admission process is concerned, what are the steps we need to follow to get into universities in Australia? So if you see the first point, it is shortlisting. Shortlisting of universities with in terms of requirement of your personal qualifications and other aspects, which I'll deal with in the next slides. The first one happens to be shortlisting. You find out some university and you shortlist according to your requirement. The shortlisting is the first point. And then it comes to once the university and course. In shortlisting, you have to remember 2 aspects. One is university as well as course. So once these 2 things are identified, the next step would be applying to that particular course and university which you have chosen. And then comes the result, that is outcome. Outcome is nothing but whether the university is accepting your application or not. So there can be 2 options. When you apply for a particular university, the university can either reject your application or accept your application. So, and again, rejection, in the case of rejection, anyhow, we can't do much. We have to think of an alternative. But it is accepted. It can be under 2 conditions again, that is conditional as well as unconditional. Now, probably you might wonder what is conditional and even unconditional. So, let me briefly explain. Let me briefly explain conditional. That is, when your academics percentage and all goes with the policy and procedure of that particular university, that is the condition they have. And the second one happens to be the English language qualifying test. It can be IELTS or any other test. And the other mandatory requirements are tuition deposit. Each university, according to their policies and terms, have a particular deposit which has to be made before confirmation of enrollment. And last but the most important one is, that is GSR. It is called as GSR, that is General Student Requirement, where you have to convince the university or you have to prove yourself why do you want to go to Australia and why do you want to continue your studies there. So based upon these things, this plays an important role in getting an admission to any Australian university. So that is the factor you need to take care. We will see in the next slides like what are the other requirements. Now, as far as conditional is concerned, we have already discussed. When we go to unconditional one, so there once all your requirements, all the stipulated criteria is matched, then the university gives you a confirmation of enrollment, that is COE. And there, now again it comes down to payment. So once your enrollment is confirmed, that is COE, technically it's called as COE, confirmation of enrollment, then the payment is the next thing which comes into picture. You have to pay according to whatever is required, and the tuition fee usually we think of paying first semester only, so that you have to check out in the university website completely and then you have to make a decision. And payment and confirmation of enrollment are both the same. Once this is done, you need to go for the payment. And finally, once your university admission is confirmed, the next step would be to go for the visa, the relevant visa as per the procedures of that country. You all have to make efforts to apply for a visa where you can fly to Australia and then join that particular university. As we already discussed in the previous slide, one of the major requirements, the conditions we can call as that, previously it used to be called as GTE, that is Genuine Temporary Entrant, but they have now changed to the terminology, that abbreviation has been changed to Genuine Student Requirement. So that shows that why this particular student is going to Australia to study that particular. You have to justify, you have to prove, you have to convince the university authorities. Only based on that the admission will be given. Now probably you may have a question in your mind. Why Australia? Why not any other country? So the reasons are, we can classify the reasons. Superior international rankings, that is, Australia stands as one of the most favored destinations to study abroad. And the second one is part-time job opportunities, which we'll see in the next slide, more details about that. And the next one will be post-study work visa up to 5 years. So you will get a visa minimum of 5 years depending on the course. And then opportunity for PR, that is permanent residency. So once you fulfill all the conditions, you will be eligible for permanent residency based on the procedures and rules of the university and further. Then availability of pathway programs. So if there is any pathway program necessary, that we will discuss in the next slide, what is exactly pathway, that I'll be able to explain in the next slide. So this is also one option where you will be given an option to study a pathway course. And again, coming to IELTS, PT, etc. These are nothing but English courses where you need to qualify them with the prescribed cutoff. So I hope you have understood the reasons why going to Australia is one of the most beneficial things for your studies abroad. Now the next thing would be intakes. Like when can we apply, how to prepare, how much time you should give, how much time you should take in advance to apply for that, how much preparation time is necessary for applying. So the intakes available with Australian University are, the major one is February and July. And these major intakes are offered by universities and private colleges. We will know how many universities, colleges are there in the next slides. Courses offered, all courses. And if you go to the minor intakes, that is October, November, May. Of course, this is a little lesser number of colleges offering this kind of intake, but still it's a valuable one for you if anybody wants to particularly go in November. So again, coming back to February happens to be the most favored intake as far as Australia is concerned. And next comes the July one. Because most of the students, they do join in February. And these are, as we have already discussed, offered by universities and private colleges. Courses offered, that all the courses are offered, and we'll see what kind of courses will be given in the next slides. Now, to give a good breakup, good understanding on what kind of universities and colleges are available in Australia. That is, first is category of universities and the second one is category of colleges. Let us first discuss private colleges. So these kind of colleges offer bachelor's or master's or VET programs. These kind of colleges offer bachelor's, master's and vocational educational training programs. And these are not affiliated to any university but has CRICOS code. I'll tell you the complete abbreviation of CRICOS. Here you can see, I hope you are able to see that. CRICOS is nothing but Commonwealth Register of Institutions and Courses for Overseas Students, an international body in Commonwealth nations which has agreement among themselves. So that is which is governing these colleges. Programs are offered in almost all popular disciplines such as IT, engineering, health, business, hospitality, etc. Few examples of college are Le Cordon Bleu, Engineering Institute of Technology, Excelsior College. These are few examples like the names of the colleges. So private colleges happen to be less in number. I'll give you the breakup in the next slide. Now let us understand pathway colleges as we saw in the previous slide. In these pathway colleges, the student progresses to a UG PG program into an Australian university. Suppose if the admission conditions are not met due to English proficiency test or percentage difference and all, this kind of course is advised by the university. This is a 4-month semester course where you need to go through that so that you can directly join the course which you are offering for. So it's actually, we can call it as a bridge course which completes the condition of your English requirements so that you can directly join that course if at all the percentage is less in your academics in India. And second point can be mainly focused on foundation diploma, and this kind of pathway college pathway program is basically, it is bridging the gap, the English, especially the English requirement gap, to get into a new course. And ELICOS can also studied in a pathway college. So if we come to the third point, ELICOS can also be studied in a pathway college. So what does ELICOS mean? It is an English language intensive course for overseas students. It is an English language intensive course for overseas students. That is, it's nothing but an English proficiency exam or a course. Now, if we come to the next point, programs are offered in almost all popular disciplines, almost all the courses such as IT, information technology, engineering, health, business, hospitality, etc. Example, Deakin College, Griffith College, Curtin College. Now, some information about the universities which are available. So, if you see here on this particular screen, there are a total of 43 universities in Australia, of which 37 are public universities and 6 are private universities. And in addition to this 43, we do have 2 more international universities. The higher education sector in Australia primarily consists of universities. That by looking at this number, you can understand that the majority of education happens in universities. Colleges, it's relatively less. Australian universities offer pathway programs, bachelor's and master's degrees and doctoral programs. That is nothing but they offer all kind of pathway. We have already seen it's a bridge course to get into the college, to get the admission. Pathway is a bridge course between Indian academic qualification and the Australian course what you are choosing. It's a bridge course. That course is also offered by the universities, and bachelor's and master's and doctoral programs. Now you might have a clarification like what kind of courses offered in, what are the streams where the courses are offered. So we can name them as popular courses, like in India what we have, so many different variety of courses. So here, if we start with, let me start with information technology, that is IT, the software, and business and management courses related to business, engineering, education and teaching, that is nothing but the Master of Education or Bachelor of Education, what we do in India, and psychology and social work. In fact, these two are related. These are arts related courses. Building and construction, again the other side completely different one. Nursing and health, again correlated. Health, or it can be doctors or even nurses. And hospitality and tourism, that's also something very unique one, and it's a very good course. And coming to pharmacy, again related to health sector. Then finally it's media and communication. So these are the different varieties of courses which are available in different universities in Australia for you to pursue according to your academic background. Now just let us have a look, a first-hand information like what are the most popular universities. These are basically called as G8 universities, where it's a set of universities, 8 different universities, most popular ones and the highest ranked ones in Australia. And Australia has 8 universities in the first 100 ranks in the world. And some of them also fall into this. That is the University of Melbourne, the University of Sydney, University of New South Wales, Sydney, Australian National University, Monash University, the University of Queensland, Australia, Adelaide University, the University of Western Australia. So these are the main 8 ones. Like you can compare them to the something like IITs in India for a comparison, though exactly they do not replicate, but it can be compared. And second set of universities we can come here, popular groups of the general ones like just below the IIT level. So these are under the name of Australian Technology Network of Universities. So like Curtin University, Deakin University, RMIT University, the University of Newcastle, Australia. So this one is UTS, that is University of Technology in Sydney, and the final one is Swinburne. Now let us understand a little more about what are exactly pathways. Previously we discussed that it is a bridge course where you need to get into a college. Once you cross this, once you do this course, then you will be given an admission directly into the second semester of the second year. So that as per university policies. So let us exactly understand what is a pathway program. Pathway programs are a good opportunity to the students who are unable to meet the direct entry requirements of the Australian universities. So those who are not able to meet the requirements, direct requirements, it may be in terms of percentage or maybe the foundation course, anything if you don't match up to that, their criteria, the university's criteria, this course is given to you where you have to do that course and get into the university. That's the first point. So students who are not able to meet the direct entry requirements of Australian universities can be offered pathway programs. So these pathway programs are offered if you fail to meet any of the criteria as per the university regulations. These programs can be offered at undergraduate level and postgraduate level. So there are two basic levels, UG, that is undergraduate level, or postgraduate level. So pathways are connected to both UG as well as PG. And these are also called as packaged programs. Pathway programs are of two types, academic pathway and English language programs. So you need to check out more in the website about this, more details. Anyhow, we will give you a brief description here, like what exactly is an academic pathway course, which relates to undergraduation. Students scoring 55 to 64% in an HSC can be offered these programs. They are also called as diploma leading to degree programs, that is D2D, diploma leading to degree. That means the diploma is nothing but the pathway program, which will make you to get into the original course what you have applied for. The next point is students usually get admission in a college where they study a diploma program for 1 year, that is diploma of business. Then you will get into business management course depending on the criteria and policy. After successful completion of diploma, they progress to the second year of bachelor's degree, eventually completing their graduation in 3 to 4 years. So here this is an important point. You have to understand that after you complete this particular bridge program or officially called as pathway program, you will directly get into the second year of that particular bachelor degree. For example, you have applied for a master's degree in business administration. So once you do this program, directly you will get entry into the second year of that business program, and you can complete that program if the period of that program is 3 or 4 years, or if it is 2 years, it can be completed in 2 years. Now under the pathways category, once we have seen academic, that is which is related to your main core course. Now this is related to English language proficiency. That is, as we have already seen, English language intensive course for overseas students, similarly to an IELTS course. English language pathways are also called as ELICOS, EAP and ELP, etc. So these are all primarily English courses where you have to get some marks, a cut-off range to enter into any university. This particular course is offered to students falling short of English language requirements. Suppose you have not got, if it is a 6 band where you need to get into an Australian university, you have not got 6 band, it's only 5.5. In that scenario, this sort of course will help you to get into that particular program. The university will decide and will allow you to go through this program and then get into the university. Students have to study English before commencing their main program. So this is mandatory. If you already have a band which is prescribed by the university, it's okay. They will directly give you admission. But in case if you fall short of requirements in terms of band score, then you have to undergo this pathway program, that is bridge program, to get into the course which you have applied for into that particular university. Duration of ELICOS is restricted to minimum 10 weeks. This is an important point. If at all you fall into the category of a pathway program, then that program shall be minimum of 10 weeks. That is, so you need to make note of that point, because the duration also has to be calculated, how much time you will be spending there. and the approximate tuition fee of this ELI course, this particular pathway program, will be Australian dollars 300 to Australian dollars 400 per week. If you can convert them into Indian INR, you can 16 to 18,000 to 24,000 approximately, that is in Indian rupees, INR. So this is the amount which is needed. This is per week. Please understand, this is for 1 week, and you have to multiply that into 10 weeks, the entire duration and the amount. You can understand how much needs to be spent on this. So if at all, this is only if you fall into that category. If you are short of any percentage requirement, or if you are short of any English language requirement, if you have got a lesser band, then probably the university will advise you to go through this course. They will tell you, okay, if you complete this course only, then we can get an admission. Now the next point will be the timeline for Australia admission process. That means how soon you have to start applying for that particular course. For example, if it is as we already saw in the previous slide, it's February intake. That's the most important intake which we discussed. If imagining that is Feb intake, then when you should start your process of application and all, we said shortlisting of universities, it should start at least 6 to 8 months. So 8 months is an ideal time where you start shortlisting universities and you prepare for your IELTS coaching, get ready for IELTS coaching right from June itself. June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Approximately 8 to 9 months before the intake, if you start preparing, that will be very good, and you will have ample time to fulfill all the requirements. So first aspect would be IELTS coaching. You have to get through the IELTS coaching, appear for that IELTS test and pass with the required band. Test result, probably if you apply in July, by July, August you get it. Submit application to university, it can be July to October. So July, August, September, October, any of these 3 months you can apply. And the university will scrutiny your applications, and then they will send you the result. That is whether they have accepted or rejected. That happens to be roughly somewhere around July to November, any time between July and November. Imagine that it's October, November. Then arrangement of funds. Then this is an important point where we need to, as per criteria, show the eligibility in terms of money, how much family income we have, or how much money we have to go to Australia for living expenses as well as the admission process. So you have to show the proof of arrangement of funds within this time, that is August to December. That is the ideal time. Financial assessment in the universities, that they will check everything very clearly, that whether you are eligible in terms of financial amount or the financial ability, because you need to survive there in terms of living expenses and as well as tuition fee. So financial assessment will be done roughly somewhere around October to January or September to January. Then apply for visas. Then once everything is done, you have got an offer letter, the university said yes, you can come to Australia, you can join the course. Then the next step would be to apply for a visa. That can roughly happen around October to January, depending on the visa date, slots, so many things are the formalities. So you need to plan very carefully so that you don't fall behind. So that happens to be October to January, and then visa grant. Suppose you have been granted a visa, it usually happens in December to February, somewhere in the between. Imagine that it's in January. So you have one month time, next February you can fly to Australia to join any course. That is fly to Australia. Imagine that you have got a visa by the end of January. Then next month you will be flying. February 25th is your course starting date. Then you can fly in the first or second week of February. Now after this February intake, let us go to September, October intake. Same, this process would be same, everything will be the same 8 months preparation and everything, which primarily starts at in the month of January, where you should need to start that, and then same process, clear IELTS, get the result, and then based on that you apply to universities January to April, and the offer letters are given somewhere between January to May, anytime depending on the university procedure and all. So when you show the proof of arrangement of funds, it is February to May. And when the universities assess you, that is between financial assessment by the universities between March and May. And once that is done, you can apply for visas between the months of May and June, that is 2 months. And then finally, you will be granted a visa subsequently to that, any time between April and July, depending on the visa slots and dates and the embassy. And finally, once you get, we have already seen that it is September, October intake. So by July you are completely ready. Between July, August, depending on the time, then you can, based on acquiring visa, based on visa being granted, you can fly to Australia in this particular intake, that is September, October intake. Right? So we have already seen two types of intakes. And if we come to annual expenses, we have already seen, so overall a rough calculation of how much amount it is necessary for you to be prepared for, to get into an Australian university and pursue your course. Roughly we will try to understand. Tuition fee of universities approximately between 20 and 25 lakh Indian rupees, that is depending on university and course. Living costs 18 lakh, it again varies depending on city, cost of living and so many other factors. Airfare from India to Australia, that usually does not differ much, it's somewhere around 1.50, 1.5 lakhs precisely. And overseas student health cover, that is 46,000 a year. The universities will add this amount also as your insurance premium or the insurance fees, where you can get health treatment, anything of that sort once you are studying in that university. So finally, the most important one, that is visa fee, 1.15 lakhs to 1.20 lakhs. Okay. So the last one is very important, and probably you have to check with embassy on the online visa application portal where how much fees. This might go up also because the embassy might increase a little bit, we don't know, but you need to check constantly to exactly know how much amount it is. And then finally, if you add up all these things, approximately it comes to 40 to 45 lakhs, somewhere that is the range. So this is the total amount which is required to study in Australia in any of the universities. This is an approximate figure where it might vary. It might go up a little, or sometimes even it come down a little also, very slightly. So sometimes if you have any scholarship if any scholarship is being granted to you, that is an added thing for you. So that amount, if applicable, you can get that from any of the universities, that amount can be saving for you. And as far as this is about the complete university course expenses and all the amount money which is required. But now coming to the job part, that part-time jobs, part-time wages, you might be very interested to know like what kind of employment the country provides while studying. So here you need to understand that as far as undergraduation is covered, you are not supposed to work as per the rules of the universities because it is undergrad. For the post-graduation, if you work for 1 hour, that's in Australian dollars, it's $24.9 per hour, that is the salary which is paid. If you convert it to Indian rupees, it's 1500 rupees per hour. And you can work for 48 hours in a fortnight, that is 2 weeks. So maximum hours which are allowed is 48, 24 per week, 48 for fortnight. So this is the official procedure of Australian university where they allow a student, the postgraduate student, to work for these many number of hours, that is 48 hours for a fortnight with per hourly wage of this much. This particular screen shows the post-study work analysis where if you go through a particular degree, how many number of years you can work based on the visa. For example, if you take bachelor's degree, if it is in major cities, it is 2 years. If it is in tier 2 cities, that is category 2 cities, it is 3 years. If it is category 3 cities, it's 4 years. So the entire duration is dependent on the category of cities. First category 2, second category 3, like third category 4. Like in India, we have tier 2, tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Same thing with Australia. Bachelor's degree, first class honors, it is 3 years, 4 years and 5 years depending on the city. This is particularly after your course is completed. After the stipulated course is completed, for that particular number of years you are doing. That is, depending on the city, if it is say city like Melbourne, it is 3 years. If it is a city like another second category one, it is 4 years. If it is a third category city, it is 5 years. So this is bachelor's, and when you come to master's, coursework and research, these are some courses which are related to research and all. For that kind of things, it can be 3 years in a major city, that is tier 1 city, that is a major city, and 4 years in category 2 city and 5 years in category 3 city. Then finally the doctoral degree, that is PhD, where you do research. That is major cities, it's 4 years. The tier 2 cities, that is the medium ones, which are 5 years, and the rural ones, that is category 3 ones, are 6 years. And for your information, you can understand category 2 regional areas like Adelaide, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Canberra, Newcastle, Lake Macquarie, etc. So these are the different ones. And when you come to category 3 regional areas, it is you can go to the link which is given and you find out what are category 3 cities. So I hope you're all clear about how the employment is categorized based on the cities, different kinds of cities, and the duration is also differs. Now these are some general details where probably you might have some clarification or doubts about what are the kind of facilities in that cities. If you have a first-hand information idea, probably you will be able to plan better your entire course there. That is, for example, public transport within cities. How is like general? Once you are in a city like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, here are the main ways students travel around. Basically in buses, available in all major cities across extensive networks, usually works with a city transport card system. And then it's trains. Trains connect suburbs to city centers, great for commuting to campus. Some regional trains also link to nearby towns. And finally, trams and ferries. So especially in cities like Sydney, where a lot of waterways are there, particularly great in Melbourne, large network, ferries, especially scenic in Sydney and part of the public transport network. So these are the different modes of transport like buses, trains and trams and ferries, where you can travel around the cities and different parts of Australia. So I hope this video has been very helpful to you. We have tried our best to give the maximum information possible so that you can be prepared well to fly abroad and continue with your dream course in a dream destination. Thank you.